I was speaking to my guys today in Musar, and it's true now also, that there's no really, it's a waste of time for me and for you, Musar and Musar Shmuz, and basically the whole day is a waste, unless you recouple the first line of the Mesilas Yesharim, you have a reason to be here. You have a Yesoda Chasidus, Shor Shavod L'Tmima. She's Varavis Ma'amei Tzeitzal Adam. You have a clear clarity of why I'm here. If you have no clarity why you're here, then it's a waste of time for both me and you. And I said also that no matter what you say you believe, it's irrelevant. Belief is irrelevant if you're not doing. The only thing the Rabbi looks at, not the only thing, but the looks at is what are you doing? Belief is you can believe or not believe. But if you're not doing it, so it doesn't count. It's zero. So if you're not interested in doing it, so what are we doing? Become a Christian. In Christianity, belief is enough. Doing it, you don't have to do. But in Judaism, doing is everything. If you don't do, then there's no, you're not doing anything. I'm going to share with you a Ramban. It's not part of the Shmuz, and it's not the Ramban's usual style. But it's an important Ramban to read, so we'll read it. It says, Nich teva Parsha Zos. Why was this Parsha written of the confrontation of Yaakov and Esav? Lodia, to let us know, Ki Yitzel HaKadosh Baruch Hu es Avdo, Hashem saved his servant, V'go'alo, and he redeemed him, Yad Chazak Mimenu, from stronger forces than he was. Vayishlach malach v'tzalil, he sent the malachim to save him. L'lamdeinu, to teach us. Od shehu lo batach b'tzidka. So realize that Yaakov Avinu, who's the Bechir Shabbat, was the greatest of the others, did not rely on his sitkis. V'ishtadl batzol, he tried his best to save himself. B'chol yachol, whatever he can. So that's the first thing. One thing he wanted to do is that we can't rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom without trying ourselves. Yesh bo od remez, there's another secret, a hint, the Doros, to all the generations. Kol asher yere lavinu im Esav, ochiv, whatever our father Yaakov had with his brother Esav, yere lanu tamid im bnei Esav, will have with bnei Esav. Bnei Esav was responsible for the Churban Bayisheni, and our life will be, with them, which is the life we have now, will be based on what Yaakov did. V'roi lanu, it is fitting for us, lachos b'darko shel tzaddik, to keep the ways of the tzaddik Yaakov. Shnizdamin atzmeinu, we prepared ourselves lishlosha devarim, for three things. Shishman hu es atzma l'tfila l'dorim l'atzolos k'derech melchama livroch l'notzel. He's prepared himself through tefillah, through davening, through bribery, through presents, and to save themselves either through fighting or to run away to save himself. K'varo Rabbi saying the haremes hazeh, and our Rabbi already saw this. Mina Parsha Zos Kasher Askir, and I'm going to tell you more about this. And the truth is, you see in the Gemaras that when they confronted the leaders of Rome, they learned this Parsha. Okay, it happens to be a lot of interesting in this Parsha. The first thing that I've noticed is if you realize that Hashem, in last week's Parsha, the beginning of the Parsha, Hashem has this, Yaakov has this nevuah in Beis El when he sees the Malachim. Hashem promises that he'll be Matzliach and he'll come back to Eretz Yisrael and be Zocha. In the end of the Parsha, Hashem comes to Yaakov and says, go back home and I'll take care of you. There's nothing to worry about. And at the beginning of this Parsha, Yaakov realizes his brother's coming to meet him with 400 warriors, and he's fachad ma'od, he's very afraid. So all the Chazal ask, why was he afraid? Hashem promised him 2 times, and the Balei Musar have one answer: Shema Yikra Machet. The reason that Yaakov Avinu was so afraid, even though he had his promise from Hashem, is he realizes that Hashem's promises are contingent upon something. Shema Yikra Machet. Maybe I sinned. We're talking about Yaakov Avinu, was the Bechir Shabbat, was the greatest of the others, and I'm sure if he did think he sinned, he would have done tshuva. So what does it mean he thinks he sinned? He says, maybe I sinned and I didn't even realize it. I was kind of saying I didn't realize it, and because of that, I lose all the promise that Hashem gave me. That's a real mussar for us, gentlemen. In other words, we believe in Hashem, she's going to take care of us, but we have to realize, we have to analyze ourselves, Shema Yigro Machet. Maybe we don't merit anything, because maybe we didn't live up to the standards we're supposed to. And some of us, all of us, I would say, myself included, I'm sure that Shema Yigra Machet is a big thing. Things that we realize we did, and things we don't even realize we did. But many things that we realize we did. If we don't conform to halacha, we don't practice halacha, we try our best. It's halachas in Shulchan Aruch. Try our best, right? It means we daven properly, we put on film properly, we eat the right foods, we don't do it the best. Then we're creating Shema Yigra Machet. Shema Yigra Machet. And if we're not concerned about it, if Yaakov Avinu was concerned about it, certainly we have to be concerned about it. Maybe I'm not living up to the standards I'm supposed to be living up to. And again, whatever you believe is irrelevant if you're not doing it. If you believe it's the right thing to do, you do it. And if you're not doing it, it means you're showing yourself and you're showing everybody else and you're showing everybody, Shalom, I really don't care about you. And you have to say, I don't really care about you. If I'm not ready to push myself a little bit to do it, I couldn't care less about you. And that's what we're telling him. And that's Shema Yigra Machet. And that's what Yaakov Avinu is worried about. Maybe I did something that wasn't up to par. Maybe I did something that I shouldn't have done. In my interactions, when I lived for 20 years with Lavan, maybe I learned, he's going to say to you, Pesach, Lavan Garti with Taryag Mitzvah Shemarti. I lived with Lavan and I kept the Taryag Mitzvahs. But maybe I messed up on one of the Taryag Mitzvahs. Maybe I didn't do exactly properly. And if Yaakov Avinu feels that way, we certainly have to feel that way. And if we know we're messing up, then if we don't do something about it, we're showing the Rebbeinu Shalom that I really don't care what you want. I do what I want. I'm more important than you. And if you don't ask yourself these questions, we're missing the point. It's part of the limud from the Avos, from Yaakov Avinu, is to be like him. Is to ask ourselves these questions. Am I living up to what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I trying my best? Okay, we're not always successful. Sometimes we're not able. But the question is, how hard are we trying? Are we really trying our best? Does it make a difference to us? Okay. I wasn't worried about it through Mishulum's. It's also worried about the risk. The risk of Rosh Hashiva was very sick. Mishulum David Solveitchik, whatever Fush name. Okay. Anyway, so the question is, are we trying our best? The next thing in the Parshat is also very, very dramatic. Yaakov Avinu has this fight with this, whatever is the Malach. I mean, it's a very, very shver Parshat. What happened? Many perushim. But the Malach, they say Samuel. Samuel is the bad angel. The Malach Hamovis, he's the angel of death. He's the Yetzer Hara. All the things wrapped up into one. Yaakov Avinu has this fight with him, and he wins the fight even though he gets injured in the Granofsky.
What's the Granofsky?
Granofsky is a sinew in your thigh. It's a thigh sinew.
It's a sinew.
It's not a vein, whatever, tendon, something like that. We don't need to get. That's why we don't need to get a Granofsky today. And today, in fact, we don't. Most people don't even bother with the thigh because it's a difficult thing to take out. So we have Baruch Hashem enough meat without the thigh. Anyway, so what's the fight about? Different Perushim. But I saw the Chavetz Chaim says something very interesting. He says, I always had the kasha. There was no such fight with Avram Avinu, no such fight with Yitzchak Avinu, only with Yaakov. The Chavetz Chaim says a very, very powerful thing. He says, Avram Avinu was chesed. Titan chesed l'Avram. He says, the Yetzer Hara didn't care that much. You want to be about chesed, be about chesed. You want to do nice things, be nice things. You know, Mother Teresa, remember her? She was a Catholic nun. She did nice things, very nice. Let her do nice things. Yitzchak Avinu is avoda. He wants to serve Hashem. He wants to connect. The Yetzer Hara says, okay, let him do that. Right? Yaakov Avinu is Torah. He goes to 14 years. He learns Shema Ever. He's Torah. He's the Avos who represents Torah to us, and that the Yetzer Hara can't stand, because Torah is the end of the story. And that's why he has to fight. And Yaakov Avinu wins the fight. And the Chavetz Chaim says, the Gid Anosha, you know what happened with the Gid Anosha? The fact that he was injured in Gid Anosha. So the Chavetz Chaim says that's the Tomchei Torah. Says people who support Torah are not up to what they're supposed to be. You know why? Because they're the Yetzer Hara one, and it gets people not to give to Torah as much as they're supposed to. That's what he says. But it's very powerful. It reminded me of a story. If you remember last year, Rav Asher Weiss, very choshev Rav Ramot Gimel, told a story about his father. His father was a teenager who was sent to Auschwitz, and he was in the same camp as the Kloisenberger Rebbe. That's, I'm a classic Kloisenberger Chazan. And he pushed himself to get into the same room as him. And he told the Rebbe he had to be in the same room. So the Rebbe said, "Why do you have to be in the same room with me?" He says, "Because maybe we'll learn together." So the Rebbe said, "We're going to learn in Auschwitz. That's a place to learn." So he said, Rav Asher Weiss's father said, "If I don't learn here, how am I going to survive?" And the Rebbe kissed him, and they tried to learn. And L'maisa, Rav Weiss's father became a very, very chashuv yid, and all his sons became excellent Talmid Chacham. We met Rav Asher Weiss, and his other son I know is when I happened to be in Montreal when his son was crowned as the Rav of Montreal, and his another son in England. They're very, very chashuv. And the father had Mesiris Nevish, but it was Limud Torah that kept him going, and Limud Torah keeps us going. And if we don't get involved ourselves in Limud Torah, that's where the fight went. And the fight of the Malach, this Malach, is fighting over Limud Torah. Limud Torah is what affects us. And the truth is, the Kloisenberger Rebbe himself said he was able to survive Auschwitz. After the war, he remarried. He builds his Hasidus. He builds Kiryat Sanz in Netanya, a beautiful neighborhood. He builds a hospital that was the first hospital between Haifa and Tel Aviv, a tremendous hospital today. Everything's al pi halacha. And he says the Yetzer Hara didn't start with me. I was able to do all these things, but at the end of my life, I wanted to start the Mifal HaShas. He started the Mifal HaShas, and he says that's when the Yetzer Hara came to me, because the Torah wants to fight Yetzer Hara. Mifal HaShas, started by Chasidei Tzanz, encourages people to learn through Shas. I had a friend who was in their kollel. He joined the kollel. You don't have to go. You can learn anywhere you want, and they pay you you learn 70 blad a month with Taisvis, and they're very hard bechinas, and they pay a lot of money. I think like $1,000 a month if you pass the bechinas. And my friend, Rabbi Leber Lisker, who did it, after like the chaf of the month, he couldn't speak to him. He was busy chazering that the perik. The 30 blood he had to know, and he was up day and night to chazer, and it was very, very hard, and he did it. He finished Shas and the Shulchan Aruch like that. But the Rebbe said about himself that until I started that, I didn't have memories of Auschwitz. I wasn't sick, and when that happened, I started getting sick, and I started getting memories of Auschwitz, and it started to interfere with his life. And he said because the Yetzer Hara, nothing else bothered him. Didn't bother him to rebuild his family, to rebuild his Hasidus, to build a hospital. Chesed doesn't bother Yetzer Hara. Limud Torah bothers the Yetzer Hara, and it bothers us also. And our fight with the Yetzer Hara has to be over this. And if we're not ready to fight the Yetzer Hara over this, we're going to lose. Because the Torah is what keeps us. The Torah what focuses us. The Torah is what connects us to Him. And the Talmud Torah is a great mitzvah, but it's a mitzvah that connects us to the Rebbeinu Shalom in the greatest way. It's a mitzvah that will change us in the greatest way. Limud Torah will change every one of us, will make us the person we're supposed to be. And the Yetzer Hara is very afraid of that. And it's fighting us. But if we're not putting up a fight, we're going to lose. It's simple as that. And it's a hard fight. And we have to do it. In the middle of the Parsha, a very sad event. Dina Dina goes out and she for see what the Menos Haaretz. She wants to see what the girls are doing, and we know what happened. Shechem sees her and violates her. And this medrash is a phenomenal medrash. Phenomenal medrash. Isim medrash, the medrash Rabbi. It says Reish Lakish Amar. Listen to this. It's a phenomenal medrash. Begimel l'shoyne shel chiba. Kodesh Baruch Hu Yisrael. There are three languages of love that Hashem has for Klal Yisrael. B'dveika, Dveika's connection. B'chasheka is desire, and Chafetz is desire. I'm not sure the difference in Chasheka and the Chafetz are different lashonos. But Dveika's connection, and Chasheka and the Chafetz desire. B'dveika, where do we see Dveika? Vatem hadveika mayom. There's a pasuk. Hashem will connect to Hashem. B'chasheka. It says, "V'lo mirubcha mikol amim choshak Hashem." Not because you're the greatest of the greatest of the people. Does Hashem choshak? Does He have choshak desire for you? Keitzo. It says, "V'ashrei eschem kol goyim." Third pasuk. Now listen to this. The medrash. The medrash goes on. V'anu l'meidim also, and we learn these three lashonos I just brought you in the Chumash where these people used to describe Hashem's connection with Yisrael. We learned these three Lashonos from the Rasha, from Shem, right? B'dveika, b'tidbat nafsho. His soul connected to her. B'chashecha, Shem, Chamor is speaking, he says, Shem b'ni choshka nafsho b'bitchem. My son Shem, choshka, he desires your daughter. B'chafetza, ki chafetz b'vas Yaakov, he wants Bas Yaakov. Unbelievable. The same Lashonos that Hashem has for Klal Yisrael are the three Lashonos that describes Shechem's desire for Dinah. And Hashem used the same Lashonos to describe his connection to Klal Yisrael. Isn't that, it's like an unbelievable. The Marzu says, listen to this Marzu, Mitchila Ksiv, it's interesting, look at the Parshat, he says, look what it says in the beginning, V'yaroso, he sees her. There's no connection, but he sees her. And the Marzu says, V'ikachoso, and he takes her. She'adomu la'ov ha'chotif basar shiroah. This is talking like a vulture, a bird that sees meat and it's going to grab it. That's when Shem sees Dinah, she's a pretty girl, grabs it, right? When he thinks about who she is, whose daughter she is, he notes it's bikirbo, something gets ignited inside of him. He wants to connect to her. This is way beyond physical attraction. His soul connected to her, right? And that's the same Lashonos. In other words, at first it was just pure taiva. He sees this girl, he wants her, but soon as he does it, he wants to connect her in a different way. What happened? What changed? He's a Rosh Marusha, and Rashi even says that even the Bnei Noach guarded themselves from violating a Basula, and he didn't guard himself, and he was such a Rasha, and from the Mabale they were like that, and here all of a sudden something changed. So you see an unbelievable thing. You see that a person could be a Rosh Marusha mamish, but a connection to somebody holy changes them totally. It can change them totally. And he didn't really connect. He was with her for a few minutes, and he saw what she was. Changes the man totally. I mean, Baruch Hashem, the sons of Yaakov do what they do to him, but L'maisa, it changes him totally. And I did. Rabbi Zuman said this morning an interesting thing that maybe Yaakov should have given it to her, and maybe would have done tshuva, and he would have another shavit. But okay, I never heard that, but it's an interesting thing to say. But L'maisa, from the expressions that Hashem uses to describe His love for Klal Yisrael, this is what his same expression that He used. That was, He changed his being. So you see that a Rosh Marusha with connection to something holy can really change. Hopefully, nobody here is a Rosh Marusha. You're not as bad as Shem. But you have the Holy Torah, you have Rabbeim who want to help you. Imagine if the Rosh Marusha can change because of that, how much we can change. Hopefully we're not as bad as Shem. We can change. We can do it. We can make that step. We're exposed to the right things. There was an interesting medrash in last week's Parshat. And I heard a Parshat from the name of the Panovich Rabbi. I heard from Ragamul Rabinovich. An interesting medrash in last week's Parshat. It says, "Vayireich reich b'gadav." Hashem, Yitzchak smelled the smell of Yaakov, really Esav's clothes, right? And that's when he gave him the bracha. And the medrash says it's Re'ev Bogdov. He smelled the rebellious ones of Klal Yisrael. And the medrash brings about Yosef ben Rishisam. Yosef ben Rishisam was a Rosh Marusha, and the Shiloh when this happened, I thought it was the Romans, or something, it was the Greeks, whatever it was. The Goyim are coming to the Beis HaMikdash and trying to defile it, and they say they were afraid to walk in, and they said whoever goes in there and takes something out, will keep what he gets. So this guy Yosef Meshisa, the Jew, goes in there and takes the menorah out, and they say to him, you know, what you took out is really not something that belongs for a guy like you. So he takes, menorah is a beautiful gold piece, it's really for a king. So go get something else. So he says, I'm not going in there again. He says, "Lo die, it's not enough that I angered my father in heaven one time, I'm going to anger him again." and something in it didn't go in, and they punished him. So you just went in there. What happened to you? You went in there and you took out the menorah, and now you don't want to go back in? So the Panovich Rav said, what happened? Once you went to the base of Mikdash, there's a certain hashpah that it had. Changed him. Certain hashpah changed him. He couldn't go back and do what he did. It was impossible to go back. And he said that the Panovich Rav said, today we have no base of Mikdash. But we have a Mikdash Ma'at. A base Medrash, a Mikdash Ma'at. Little Mikdash. He says the Mikdash Ma'at can change us. Can change them. Yosef Meshita is a Rosh Marusha. If we're not a Rosh Marusha, it can definitely change us. We have to want to do it. We have to want to be changed. If Shechem could change, if you want to change, you can change. If Shechem and Yosef Meshita can make the change because they realize there's kedusha here, everyone can do that. But we have to accept the kedusha. We have to say to ourselves, I'm ready to make the change. I'm ready to make the step. And if we preach it and don't do it, so we're just a triple F. We're fake, phony, and fraud. We preach it and don't do it means we don't really believe it. If we really believe it, we'll do it. If we preach it and don't do it, you're just a fake. You're just a phony. You're nobody. So now that we're heading, we always talk about Hanukkah, the halfway point of the year. Hanukkah is another week and a half. It's Hanukkah. Today's Yudalit already, so it's like 11 days till Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the point. Right, Libra always called it the cutoff point. Let's see what separate the men from the boys. If we're not doing it yet, we're missing the point. If the base of Medrash and the Rebbeim didn't make the change on us, then what's it all about? It means we don't want to make it. We don't want to do it. We're not ready to jump in. We're not ready for to make that connection. The Torah has tremendous power. There's the Yetzer Hara that's fighting us. There's no question there's the Yetzer Hara that's fighting us. It's fighting us every second of the day. But if we give in to that Yetzer Hara, we lose. And if we learn from and we have in that we have the DNA of our Zayda Yaakov Avinu. We have his DNA. He was able to fight the Yetzer Hara, the Malach HaMavis, the Sarah Shel Esav. He was able to overcome that power. And we have his DNA. We have the same power if we want to do it. But we have to want to connect to him. We want to connect to it. If we want to fight that Yetzer Hara, that Malach HaMavis, he's fighting with us. He's disturbing us. He doesn't want us to let the Torah in. He doesn't want to let the Kedusha in. He'll never go in if we don't put up a fight. Okay, the fight is not as dramatic as the fight Yaakov Avinu had, right? But it's our own drama. Our own drama is we like our room, we like our phone, we like our bed, and that's the Yetzer Hara. And if we don't want to put up a little effort and say, listen, I'm going to put that Yetzer Hara in the back, and I'm going to jump in, he wins. He wins the fight. Imagine if Yaakov Avinu wouldn't have put up a fight like that. And if you look in the Chazal and Midrashim, it was a spiritual fight. The Yetzer Hara wanted him to start questioning himself, questioning the Rebbeinu Shalom, and he didn't give in. Had he given in, he wouldn't have been Yaakov Avinu. I don't know what would have been a Klal Yisrael, but he wouldn't have been Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was the one who wins the fight. He wins the fight. He's a little injured, and the injury didn't affect him. He's already, by the morning, Hashem heals him. The sun comes up, he's already better. So the Yetzer Hara is, we have total control. We can win that fight, but it's only if we want to. It'll never happen if we don't want to. But every second of our lives, he's fighting us. He's not going to stop. We're always being challenged. On every level that you're at, we're being challenged. And Chazal tell us, the greater you are, the bigger it is a challenge. And I always say, even though the challenge is greater, the consequences are less. In other words, if the Vilna Gaon was challenged, it was challenged with the Torah for 5 minutes a year. Right? We're challenged for 5 minutes every 50 minutes. So it's a different challenge. But he's being challenged, and if we don't put up a fight to that challenge, we will lose the fight, and he will win. And if he wins, we're out of the picture. And if we want to continue, we want to be part of Klal Yisrael, we want to be part of the Torah world. That's our decision. In other words, if we take the first line of the Mesilas Yesharim, we take it seriously. We have a chiyuv b'olama. We have a reason why we're here. We have a reason why we want to be here. It's not. We're not just here because it's random. He says interesting in the Ali Shor that a person who says, "Well, I'm doing it. I did it because my parents did it." He says, "You missed the whole point. It means you wear a coat in the winter because your parents wore a coat in the winter. It's not because you're cold. So like you missed the whole point. Yeah. We have to be part of it. We have to be part of Klal Yisrael. Hashem gave us all the things that we need. He put you in Eretz Yisrael, which is a special place. There's a special koach of Eretz Yisrael. He put you in yeshiva, where all we want to do is help the Talmidim. It's all we want to do. You have Baruch Hashem, good Rabbeim here, who all they want to do is make you successful. But it has to be, you have to want to. If you don't want to, then there's nobody who can make you want to do it. There's no magic trick. There's no pill to take. The pill to take is to fight that Yetzer Hara and to do it. And if we don't fight that Yetzer Hara and do it, then the Yetzer Hara wins. And that's our challenge. And as the year passes, every day that we lose, he's winning that much more, and he's getting that much stronger. So each one of us has to decide where we want to end up and what we want to do. And if we just make the right decision, Hashem will give us the koach, just like He gave Yaakov Avinu the koach. But if Yaakov Avinu would have 1 second not put in that effort, he would have failed. The Sarah Shaisa would have won. It would have been a whole different outcome. Baruch Hashem, Yaakov was he won, and we're here. But if you want to remain with him, you have to put the same kind of effort in. Hashem should give us all that koach and all that insight and all that feeling to do it right.